I'm Claire Dooley. You're watching CHGTV, and this is the Geoengineering Report, where we identify the threat in the skies. Insects have vanished, pollinators are missing, and forests are falling silent. These aren't just abstract trends, they're the unraveling of nature itself. We ask, what happens when the foundational life forms of our planet disappear? Dane Wigington with geoengineeringwatch.org lays out how climate engineering contributes to the biological collapse now threatening food, forests, and the future.
Half the tree of life. Ecologists horror as nature reserves are emptied of insects. We have a climate-led species collapse.
It corroborates everything we've stated at geoengineeringwatch.org since 2012. We were the first significant source to publish data about insects collapsing around the globe that's from our work with former government scientists. And my question to the population would be this: if the insects can't make it, how long do we really think we're going to be here? I haven't seen a single bee in Northern California where I live this year. I saw one bumblebee a couple days ago, but not a honeybee. I mean, that is absolutely profound. I live in what was a formerly lush forest that's now dying by the day. No pollinators. So the wildlife is tanking and collapsing as well because insects across the board are largely gone. In forests here where I couldn't, because I spent a lot of time in the forest, and where I would sleep on the forest floor and awaken at first light because there were so many birds that it was like being in the tiki room at Disneyland where they have, all these bird calls and you couldn't sleep. It's deathly silent now. Deathly silent. And again, how people can ignore that, go about their lives, go to football games and political rallies and pretend nothing's wrong is mind-numbing to me. It's like we're caught between a clinically insane power structure and a population that is hopelessly asleep at the wheel. That has to change. And all other causes or concerns, and I stress this is where prioritizing matters as well. Whatever cause or concern that anyone's personally interested in, consider that it won't mean anything on a dead planet. Zero. Nothing. We don't preserve the planet's life support systems, it's game over. And we're perilously close to that point. And what are we doing right now? Did you see the latest budget? How much more going into the military-industrial complex to build more weapons of mass destruction? Does that not seem like the epitome of insanity to you, Polly?
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but yeah, it does. I mean, we moved to Austin 12 years ago. There was rat snakes everywhere, butterflies, bees, everything. We are not seeing that anymore. So I'm with you on that. Well, I haven't seen a rat snake for a couple of years now. And they're important, believe it or not. Everybody who doesn't like snakes, they're important.
They're very, very important.
Yeah, and the butterflies, where are they? I don't know where the butterflies are. And the wildflowers that we normally have in Texas, nothing like how many we used to have. They used to be covered in wildflower, and now it's not.
Same in Northern California. And the same with sharks in the ocean are disappearing. I mean, the whole ocean food chain disappearing as well. On the snakes on the particular mountaintop I'm on, they're drawn to this mountaintop for some reason. I mean, I've relocated rattlesnakes my entire adult life because I think they're a miraculous creature and I'm not about to hurt them. Summer before last, I had to relocate 21. Last summer, 4. This summer, so far, none. So again, how people can think that life is going to go on. Do they think, and some people do think this, that, well, they don't need to worry about the environment because food comes from Walmart and McDonald's, right? No, not so much. And again, we need people to reprioritize why they're here. And as long as the odds look against us, again, the example I've used before, but if your child was in a burning house, you knew you had almost no chance of saving them, would you not try? Of course you would.
Absolutely. And to the people who love their dogs more than humans, dogs are being affected as well. Dogs breathe in the same air as us. Dogs are out in the same toxic rain as us. And dogs are dying earlier.
They are. And on that note, dogs are being given the same medical treatment that people are. And I just had to learn this the hard way firsthand with a young, healthy, vibrant Doberman that dropped dead for no reason except for an injection that a vet said they would not administer, but I now know they did. And again, I don't want to venture off into another subject, but I'm saying with this mentality of pressing on with extractive everything to keep this paradigm going until nothing is left, we're not going to be here long on this course. What does that mean? Because we had this discussion off air, Polly, as I know you remember, we just had this, but we have polar scientists stating the human race, based on the feedback mechanisms that have now been triggered, that the human race may not be here more than a few more years. That means before the end of this decade. And that is not even taking into account nuclear everything, which means 442 nuclear power plants that will go into meltdown when society's collapse. Takes 2 to 3 decades to cold shut down a nuke plant. Now there's legislation that's by this administration opening up, it appears, the avenue of burying this nuclear waste everywhere, anywhere they can. Just keep building nuke plants and burying the waste everywhere, just like they're fracking, destroying aquifers permanently everywhere. Is it not hard to see for people that we are behaving as a species that doesn't want to be around very long? So when we have polar scientists, and why would they say this? Why are the polar scientists, would they make such a statement? Because as the ice implodes in the polar zones, and it is, and for those people we see in alt media saying, oh, there's more ice than ever, I don't know what planet they're on, it damn sure isn't this one. The ice is completely disintegrating. They're chemically nucleating the sea surface. We can see this on satellite. We've recorded it. They're chemically nucleating the sea surface to create a chemically induced slush that they call ice pack to mask how badly the poles are melting. So when the ice disappears, and that reflects we're back to solar radiation management in a sense, Polly. The ice reflects 90% of the sun's incoming thermal energy. The ocean water absorbs 90%. So in their attempt to hide what's happening, they're actually making it worse, not better. As we lose the sea ice and the ocean absorbs that much more solar energy, exponentially more, now we have massive methane blowouts on a scale even bigger than we had. Methane enters the atmosphere, covering the planet like a layer of glass. Again, all that is happening right now. So the polar scientists, back to their statement, that's what puts them in a position to make that statement, that this equation is not linear. Once we break through these barriers of planetary life support systems, you can't grow food. At that point, we're done, and we're talking about heating on a scale that is incomprehensible, that has never happened in the planet's history of 4.5 billion years. So again, we have polar scientists stating that we have only a few years left on the current course, and if that doesn't sober people up, it should. And if they want to pretend that these processes aren't happening because, again, we all love to hate Al Gore, that's a mistake.
So everyone needs to keep up to date on geoengineeringwatch.org for sure.
We love hearing from you at CHGTV. We always are going through your emails and, sending them to each other and discussing the pictures you're sending and, whatever comments you're making. So please continue doing so. You can reach out to us at goodmorning@chg.tv. Thank you so much for watching the Geoengineering Report, and we'll see you next time on